Dumb
and weird.
podcast. So, in this episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about fake ass people who are super fake.
Yeah, those people like we met at the bar that one time.
Yeah.
Like those two women that were interested in you that night it was really funny because they pretty much tried to jam like some kind of bullshit socialist message down your throat after trying to bring you in with telling you how hot you were.
Yeah.
And I got stuck with the supposed woke multimillionaire.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I don't know, that guy didn't really look like a millionaire to me.
He
didn't hold himself like a millionaire.
Well, he is woke, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Maybe he was rich on life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe his millions were millions in like his feels.
He was talking to every big guy he could. He probably wanted some guy to gorilla fuck his wife.
Could have been. I just know I was walking, trying to get back to where you were, and I remember the girl looked at me and goes, "Oh, hey, you want to help us cut this cake?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I went over there, and those women were just like being so sweet to me, saying, "Oh, you don't have a girlfriend, do you?" I was like, "Not technically, not, no." And then they were just like, all over the place.
What was funnier, though, is that one of them was married.
Yeah, I know, right?
And was hitting on you, so that there goes that marriage.
Well, it was just really bizarre, since we're talking about fake people, it was just really bizarre how, like, they were so quick to be all for socialism, but then at the same time, they said they loved being in the United States. It was, we have some social programs, but we're technically, more of a capitalist society,
Which, honestly, the one that was Argentinian, that was the one that was kind of, like, talking a lot of shit. I almost was like, you came from a country that, like, only recently in our human history stopped being a fascist country after getting into a firefight, full-blown war in the Falklands with the British. I was like, you were literally had your fascist ass kicked by a bunch of gnarly motherfuckers from all the way across the pond who didn't even have any. They didn't have any via air support. They didn't have any ground vehicles for support. People were cutting holes in their trousers to shit out of while they were walking, and they whooped their asses.
Well, and the other girl was from Pakistan, too.
I thought it was from Iran.
No, you're right. She was from Iran. Sorry, I got that wrong. Yeah, she was from Iran. She's like, I'm from Iran. And they both were talking about how their countries were better than the United States, even though they both lived in the United States, and one of them was already a citizen. The other one was trying to get their citizenship. That's really bizarre to me.
It's weird. The one of those countries still outlaws sorcery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because how much sorcery have you encountered in the West?
I mean, besides Jafar from Aladdin, probably none.
I would say a lot of people say they know magic, but usually it's a guy in his basement who hates women.
With long hair, glasses, and like millions of rings on his fingers.
Yeah, most likely has a lot of chafing on his penis from masturbation.
And I think his name's probably Andor or some shit like that.
Yeah. Probably thinks of himself as Harry Potter, but Gandalf from Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, Ganondorf. Yeah. I don't know. Sorcery is a serious problem, in this world, and you really need to fight sorcery.
Sorcery must be like on the rise in the Middle East.
So sorcerers, warlocks, witches,
probably the mimes.
Mimes, yeah, mimes are probably actually sorcerers in disguise. Magicians.
Magicians are scary people.
Yeah. So that's our PSA for the day is watch out for those magicians.
Yeah. But in terms of fake people, it's kind of funny when you meet a clown or a mime.
Yeah.
Those are the most real motherfuckers you're ever going to meet when you meet them like
out
of their job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're very real. They're about as real as it fucking gets, man.
The level of fucking depression it takes to be a clown or a mime. It's like their art crushes their soul.
Oh, yeah. Kills them.
But then you got every blue-haired motherfucker walking around pretending they're an artist because they used their period blood to smear it all over a white wall somewhere.
Dude, I've heard that so many times. Like, I thought that was just a joke, but apparently it's like a thing. I really didn't know that. It's, those are the most interesting people. I've known so many people that I've worked with in the film industry, and a lot of them are like a good bit of them are pretty fake. I usually weed out like the really cool ones, and I like those people. But there's also really a bunch of fake ones because they'll say stuff that you heard on like CNN or NBC or something like that. Like it's been regurgitated, and they basically were regurgitating the same shit they heard. And they'll be like, "Yeah, I like this, I like that, I like all these different things," and it's like, don't you have your own opinion? I mean, that's what everybody else was saying, and they're like, "But that's how I feel," and I'm like, "But do you really feel that way?" You know?
I've noticed something though is that people who have like real opinions
Mm-hmm.
are the people that you would still consider your Republicans, your Democrats, your more of your centrists, like
Mm-hmm.
people who actually identify as a liberal and conservative, not people who are so far progressive they're just leftists or like so far on the right that they're extremists.
Yeah.
Like these are the fringe people who are narrating for the rest of us.
Yeah. The first thing I thought you said those French people.
The French. Don't get me started on them.
Yeah, they're not. Are they fake?
Dude, they've been doing some real shit though. So I don't think they're fake anymore.
Yeah. I mean, they always say the French are a bunch of wusses, but then every time revolution comes around, man, they do some hardcore shit, don't they?
What was it, like a couple of years ago? The firefighters were in the streets fighting the police while the firefighters were on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, how awesome is that?
Yeah, and let's not forget about the French Revolution. I mean, they were like, "Well, we're tired of this shit. We're just gonna chop your fucking heads off."
Well, here's the fun part. The France has gone through a series of revolutions to the point that, have you ever looked at like how streets in Paris are so wide open
Yeah.
like that? The reason is because they actually remodeled France so that people couldn't like throw furniture into the streets
Yeah.
and barricade off the streets to like hold off a full-on army. So that I think that's pretty cool because it's like the average citizen was like, if we just flood the streets with a bunch of random bullshit, they can't get through. And I mean, if they try to, we shoot them or stab them. And it's like, oh, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna throw a monkey wrench in this operation, make the street really wide.
You think they ever flood the streets with wine?
No, just winos.
Winos. Okay. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure if like all that wine went to waste like that, I'm pretty sure everybody would like just die in that country because that would be, that's I mean the French pretty much live off of wine,
Always had. I would say though, the French are very interesting people.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do kind of fight for what they believe in now.
Mm-hmm.
After letting it kind of slip for a while
Yeah.
and having about a few terrorist attacks kind of set them back to me like, maybe we should be a little bit hard on people. Progressivism isn't really working out. Progressives are usually the most fake people. They'll make up shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're the kind of people who are going to be like, oh, this trans MMA fighter's a woman, and that woman's transphobic for getting her ass kicked by the trans person.
Huh.
Yeah, so apparently if you don't want trans people to beat up women in sports, you're transphobic. That's why Joe Rogan's in a bunch of shit for that still, even though he said that years ago.
Yeah, I do remember when he talked about that. I mean, that's like the broken record that people keeps going with. Because I actually watched that episode. He didn't say he hated trans people. He just said that he didn't agree with somebody who's been a male their entire life, a man basically their entire life. They decided to transition like a couple years ago, and then they just now started fighting women. Doesn't seem very fair because that body was built and structured with testosterone. And I'm sorry, but 2 years of hormone therapy is not going to make a difference,
That's kind of like the newest one that was like a lieutenant for like Army Special Forces or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like pick up the back end of a car, bench press 315 for like reps. Has only got, I think got the surgery like a few years ago. So even while living as a woman, you've still had the advantage of male testosterone to some degree. And then gets into the ring, beats the piss out of a woman. And everyone's kind of like, oh, this is a right move, progressive. And then when you mention it, it's like they have they're for women's rights and they're for trans rights. But when a woman gets her ass kicked by a trans person,
they're going to pick the trans rights over the women's rights, right?
Yeah, they eat their own.
Man, it's fucked up.
But you got to be a real piece of shit though if you sit there and say like, oh yeah, this is completely fine. It's like, how many people got to get like their skull cracked before someone actually cares.
That's a good point. I don't know. I mean, it makes me it makes me sad because like I really want trans people to be able to be themselves and do whatever it is they want to do, you know? Be whoever they want to be. But at the
Yeah.
same time though, if women are getting like fucked over like this, I don't know if I feel good about that either. It's like how am I supposed to feel? Am I like how am I like it's like you can't win. You're like you're
Well,
damned if you do, damned if you don't, you know?
I have a friend who's trans
Yeah.
that actually like everyone's like getting pissed off at me for saying that trans people should have their own league.
Mm.
This person is a weightlifter.
Uh-huh.
Also thought the same thing, and they called that person transphobic.
Mhm.
And yes, the reason I'm going to say that person because I don't remember their pronouns, and I wouldn't want to fuck that up. And that's just because I actually respect that person.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's
But it's like I don't have to respect you because you're trans, but I'm not going to disrespect you because you identify differently. That would be wrong.
mhm.
You know, it's like, but it's interesting how a bunch of people who are saying they're for trans rights are now are like bearing down on that person for saying that they want their own league.
Mhm.
Like, how does that make sense?
I think that's totally fair having their own league. I don't
Yeah.
see what's wrong with that. What's wrong with that?
Apparently, it's wrong.
Okay.
There's no basis for why it's wrong. It's wrong because trans women are women. So
It's just
now they have to be in the women's sports. Is like, but a lot of them, one of them is saying that they want their own league, and you're bullying the one that says they want their own league so that they compete with other people who are part of their group.
I just don't think it's fair to women, man. Like, you know, I was watching an interview not too long ago where these three young ladies, I think they were like 18, 19 years old, they were complaining about how like they had been working their asses off their entire lives to like go to this it was some kind of competition for some sports.
I know what you're talking about. It was track and field or some. It was a track.
Maybe it was track,
It
yeah.
was track, and they
They all lost because some trans athlete like beat them in a race, and they were just like throwing their hands up like, what the fuck, dude? We fucking worked our asses off for this shit.
It's kind of like the Australian trans weightlifter, right?
Yeah.
She took an opportunity from an 18-year-old Tongan woman. And this is the next thing, right? They're also for the right, like for the advancement of people of color, right?
Yeah.
So how is it that the white trans woman gets an opportunity over the Tongan 18-year-old woman? That doesn't make sense, right?
That's a good point. I mean, you're not wrong, dude. I kind of wondered that myself.
But I mean, this is why these people are fake, because they can never give you a real answer to why they believe what they believe. They just do, like you said, they believe what they believe because someone told them.
It's a fad. Like remember how being gay was a fad like 10 years ago? Like it was a fad it was cool to be gay back then. Now you never really hear about it anymore. It's just people are gay, you know? It's not really like talked about as much, you know?
I mean, that kind of goes with what we were talking about last week, right? It doesn't fucking matter. That's like, cool.
Yeah. But that's what's going to happen with this trans thing. Like the trans community is finally going to be happy because in the next couple of years, they're not going to be part of the fad anymore, and they're going to be just like, whew, damn, glad that's over. But who knows what the next thing is going to be, you know?
Well, apparently there's 80 genders, so we got to go down the list.
I don't think so. I think they're going to move on to something else, and I'm worried they're going to come for my community next. I'm so worried about that.
Well, you said they already are coming for your community.
I know.
They kind of did that pretty well. Like they're kind of infiltrating bit by bit. I mean, that's what they do. They try to really just gather people for their little weird woke army.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. Like, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens, and we'll see what happens with that. I have seen that kind of happen a little bit in my community. People would be like, I'm this, this, and this, and then when it comes time to actually do like the stuff, people are like, oh, I don't want to engage in that because that's not real, blah blah blah. That's actually abuse.
Oh, this kind of reminds me of a story of what one of my friends told me.
Mm-hmm.
So when she said like years ago when she was in high school that some girl is saying like that she's bisexual, right? So this friend of mine, she's also I think she was a lesbian or bi, I can't remember. Not that important, but anyway, she actually like is trying to get with this person, and that person was like, "Oh no, I'm not really into girls. They just say I am." So I'm like, "Cool."
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
What? Why would you say you're into something when you're not?
Well, that's what it is. It's like what you're saying. Somebody's gonna say they're into stuff, then all of a sudden they're not.
I had a girl one time tell me that men can't be bisexual. That was back when I was in college. This girl was like she was like, "Oh, men can't be bisexual," and I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because they're either one or the other." And I'm like, "No, that's not how that works." And she goes, "How do you figure that?" And I was like, "Well, for one, my first sexual experience when I was younger was with a man. My first ever sexual experience was with a guy, and I'm pretty sure I still really like pussy. I just happen to like pussy and dicks. Like the fuck."
It was just like,
I was just like, "What's wrong with you?"
but this is the person who's probably gonna go like join a church somewhere, and talk about how they consider themselves a sinner for going down on other chicks, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's completely fine. It was a phase in your life," and they're gonna get over it. But if a guy was to say that, like, "Oh yeah, I took a few poundings in the ass when I was in university," they'd be like, "Huh, you're gay forever."
Well, it's like me. Like I'm bisexual, but I strongly prefer women. I always tell people that all the time. I just really like women, but I also like men too. That's why like the type of relationship I'm trying to have works because like if she wants to be with other guys, it doesn't really bother me because I kind of like it.
That makes sense.
I just I always hope that at least I'm attracted to the person. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. It's like I don't know, like, would it work? I mean, would it work if I wasn't bisexual? Probably not.
I mean, it wouldn't, because how you wouldn't like to see another dude fucking your partner,
Yeah.
and it would be like if you were the gay one in the relationship, and then your partner was bisexual, and he brought a woman into the whole thing.
Yeah,
It'd be
be
like
the same.
or whatever,
Dude, I
whatever,
heard
whatever it is.
So I found out like I was talking with my person about that, and she was telling me that like that's like an issue in the LGBTQ community is a lot of gay and lesbian people do like groups of folks do not like bisexual people, and the reason why they don't like them is because they get jealous of them maybe hooking up with the opposite sex. It's like almost like they don't not only do they have to worry about them maybe cheating on them with another girl or guy, now they got to worry about them cheating on with a girl or a guy.
Let's be honest though. As bisexual people, we're kind of treated like veterans.
Mm-hmm.
We're only liked when we play the role that the community wants, right? It's like civilians only civilians only care about people when they're active military, kind of like the LGBT. There's goddamn it. I'm sorry. I can't say the whole process.
LGBTQ community.
Yes, but we forgot the plus. But they like bisexual people when they work for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like once they're out and doing their own thing,
Mm-hmm.
throw them away.
Yeah.
But when they need help, it's kind of like the fat acceptance movement.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they realize, like, man, people are rejecting the fat acceptance movement because it's made up a majority of women who are overweight.
Mm-hmm.
Better bring in the overweight guys now.
Yeah, I was at Target yesterday, and when I was there with looking like I was there. We were looking at we were in the women's section, and the women's section had a plus size section, and they had plus size models. And I was like, oh, that'd be really cool if the men's section had something like that too. And the girl goes, oh, they would never have anything like that. And I'm like, okay. That would be nice if they did.
That's interesting because it's like Duluth Trading Company kind of makes commercials with the bigger dude. So it's like have more space for your balls at Duluth Trading Company jeans because we know you need it. Or now how there's actually like I've noticed it within YouTube advertisement. There's a double XL like being advertised, big and tall double XL, but that only started becoming a thing recently.
Yeah, I actually fit into mediums again. I fit into mediums with some sizes. Most of the time, it's still larger than most sizes. So
It's kind of crazy. It's like I fit into a large at the smallest,
well,
and I fit into a double XL comfortably.
I had to
An XL, not a double XL.
I had to explain to a girl the other day the difference for men between a medium and a large, and she goes, "It's the gut, right?" I was like, "No, a medium is mostly for a guy with smaller shoulders, and a large is mainly for a guy with big, broad shoulders." And I tried to explain that to her,
Yeah,
because that's like the big difference between a medium and a large. I told her, I was like, but the problem is I wish some larges would actually contour sometimes.
Yeah.
Because not every guy who wears a large is going to have a bigger waist. Sometimes it's like a smaller waist.
well that's kind of where I'm at. It's like I need the double XL because of my shoulder width.
Yeah, because your shoulder width. Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's like I could fit into a large comfortably, but even then it's like I have some shirts that I'm like, man, I liked wearing this when I can fit into a medium. And I realized, man, you're not gonna go back to that. It's like you said, it's not around the waist, it's around the shoulder.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks because I got a pink shirt that I really love. That's just not gonna fit ever again.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's some brands at Walmart, especially, that I can wear a medium and it fits me pretty well. But most of the time, it's just I have to wear a large,
Yeah.
But I have some extra larges. This extra large looks so fucking big on me. It's like super baggy.
Yeah.
Like even this hoodie that I'm wearing is a large, but I wish it was like a little bit smaller.
Yeah, the one that my wife got me, the flannel that I wear, a double XL from Duluth Trading Company, just so I have extra space and everything. And even now, I've noticed even my shoulders are getting, like, I'm just getting wider up here. So it's like it's getting harder to actually fit into it. Waist, on the other hand, my ass don't fit in no jeans. The waist is fitting in the jeans.
Yeah, and there's nothing fake about that.
Yeah, it's a dump truck of an ass. There's only two ways I'm going to survive in prison: giving up that ass or beating them cheeks.
Well, speaking of fake, what about people that get plastic surgery? And that's fucking interesting, isn't it?
Depends. It's like, do you ever notice like how a lot of people shit on Mickey Rourke for his plastic surgery?
Dude,
Without realizing,
he looks really bad, though.
But here's the thing, though. Mickey Rourke had his face busted up in a boxing match. And he regrets going to the surgeon that he went to and wished he shopped around. But he wanted to get back out there, so he got his face done up by someone who is less reputable.
Well, I saw the picture of him, man, and he looks like a Muppet, dude.
It's not looking good. Like, that's the thing. When you age with plastic surgery, it ain't good.
Why does he look like a Muppet?
That's what happens when you age with plastic surgery.
You look like a Muppet?
It looks fucking awful, dude. But it's like, have you ever looked at somebody who ages without plastic surgery? Like, all these people who get plastic surgery because they don't want to age.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston had very minor surgery. Very, very minor, and she looks really good. She's, like, aging really well. Then you got someone like... I worked with, I love her to death, Dolly Parton. I love her, but goddamn, she's got so much plastic surgery, dude.
I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one because I think she's still banging.
You didn't see her up close like I did. Her plastic surgery looks
Although
pretty rough.
So back when I was living in Jacksonville, North Carolina, so they have a bunch of former porn stars who come out to Toby's to perform. I heard that, like, if you look at pictures of Alexis, Texas, right? But then look at see Alexis, Texas up close, it's a fucking shit show.
Well, I just hate it because, like, I hate when people get botched surgery because I feel bad for them because it's like, dude, they're paying all this fucking money to get surgery, and then you give them bad surgery, and now they have to spend even more money to get it fucking fixed.
The worst The worst problem though is if you're doing it because for like vanity reasons, right? You're just like, oh, I don't want to age. But when you're actually got like a fucked up face, you
Yeah,
want to
but what
get it.
happened to Mickey Rourke to make him get all that surgery?
Oh, he got fucked up, dude. In the boxing match that he was in, his face was like swollen and destroyed.
Because, like, when he was a young man, he was really good looking. And then, like,
Yeah.
when he surfaced again, when I saw that movie, The Wrestler, back in the day, I was like, what happened to him? Why does he look so different?
He looks a lot better than he did. Dude, I'm telling you, it was that boxing match and him picking the wrong person to fix up his face. Like he says it.
What, did he go to the same guy that did the Joker in 1989 Batman? Is that the guy he went to?
That was also confusing, by the way.
What, in that movie?
Yeah, in that movie, Jack Nicholson is a wealthy, or at least doing well for himself because he's got a high-rise apartment in Gotham City, and he's got a back alley plastic surgeon. You're telling me you couldn't go and get a real plastic surgeon?
Yeah, because, like, when he got fucked up by that thing, like, when it cut his face open, like, right there,
Yeah.
they could have fixed that, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. You ever watch Sons of Anarchy? Since we're talking about like smiles and everything.
Not really. I mean,
Well,
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
So one of the actors, he has like a Chelsea's grin.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought, I was like, huh, is that like real?
Yeah.
And then turns out he actually got jumped one night and somebody cut open his face.
Yeah, that sucks.
But he wears those scars and it looks cool. You know what I mean? Like he's accepted his scars.
So it works for the movie or for the TV show.
Works for the TV show, but in anything that he actually does where he shows up,
Yeah.
you're just like, that's badass.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I like I don't know, I like that stuff like the shows like that. I don't know, man. I don't really ever get them. Like, it's funny. Like, I know I make movies and work in entertainment, but like, I just never get a chance to really watch things. Like, I'm just now watching Squid Game, and I haven't even finished. Like, me and I'm never gonna say her name on air because I don't want her to be exposed.
It's like I'm never gonna say mine's name.
So we were watching. Well, she was getting ready, but I was watching Squid Game, and I'm only on. I couldn't even finish episode number 4. You know.
It's just dumb.
No. It's not that I couldn't finish it, like, because it was dumb. It was because we didn't have time. I had to come meet you, and I had to drop her off at work. So
I'm a burden.
no, not a burden at all. I mean, I had to drop her off at work.
Yeah.
So
But back to fake people.
yeah.
We went to college with a lot of fake people.
I know, dude. You know who's really fake? And I'm gonna say his name, Mitch McCord. Remember him?
Oh, you mean the fucking recluse in what was it, the trench coat? He looked like a school shooter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was an asshole.
Yeah. So he
He
gave
looked
off
like a rapist.
Well, he gave off the vibe like he was a really funny, charismatic guy, but really he was actually a shisty fucking piece of shit behind like when you had your back turned to him.
I heard stories.
Yeah. He did that shit to me.
Kind of like your ex.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Honestly, what he did is he kind of turned her against me, which probably didn't really take very much, to be honest with you, because she sucked too.
She was dumb.
Yeah, I remember, like, she said she wanted her shit back, and I, like, brought her box of stuff. And
Like you're getting fired from.
yeah, like she's getting fired or something, and like
You're being replaced. You're being laid off from being the girlfriend.
and I was just like, she was like, she comes out there he's with her, and I looked at her and I go, you're a fucking piece of shit, and you're a fucking piece of shit. You guys are fucking just together. Y'all are like turds in a toilet bowl. That's what I said to both of them. And he laughed and said, well, that's funny coming from you. And I was like, yeah, keep laughing, dude.
He still lives with his parents, I bet.
I bet. I was like, keep laughing, dude, because like, everybody knows how much of a scumbag you are now at school. So probably shouldn't come back there ever again.
To be fair, when we got into college, I kind of thought college was going to be like more adult-like, but really it was just like high school on steroids, where the fake people became more fake.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, you told me how like even though you liked me,
Yeah, everyone was talking shit.
everybody hated me. Like,
Yeah.
well, not everybody. Everybody didn't hate me, but like some people just really didn't like me.
Everyone had something to say. I was like, and I would always be like, well, he's a really cool guy. I don't know what you're like going on about. And it always had something to do with your ex. Like, well,
Saying something, right?
yeah, saying something. I was like, she's a dumb bitch. Like, this person is by the way, that was the fakest human being of all human beings. Could not read, but said they read the Communist Manifesto.
No. So interesting story. I dated this girl. She was very fake. Found out after we got done quit dating, like I found out a bunch of stuff about her that blew my fucking mind. But at the same time, I wasn't surprised, if you could even believe that.
It was not.
She basically, I found out because we started dating when she first got into college. But I found out that when she was in high school, her girlfriend at the time did all of her work for her. And I found this out after the fact. So basically, her girlfriend did all of her homework and all of her tests for her because she did them online, which I didn't even know that was a fucking thing.
I didn't realize in high school you could do that shit.
Yeah. Graduated with honors, not because she did it, but because her girlfriend did it. Found out that she barely had a ninth grade education level because, let's be real, she probably
coasted through 7th and 8th grade, too.
Yep. But I found out at the very end of it all that she really just didn't know anything. She didn't really have any life skills. I mean, I just picked a really bad partner, man.
To be fair, a lot of your partners weren't that great. I mean, a lot of people didn't surround themselves with the right people because a lot of people that we surrounded ourselves with were fake.
Yeah, I mean, I love Joe to death, man, but there's something like kind of surface level about him sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
You know, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, bro. It's the truth. I mean, he really only would show up like every once in a while, and like it was so bizarre. You would like, I don't know. I mean, we could talk about it sometime, Joe, if you're actually watching this. But like, I'm just being real, dude. Like, there's something super surface level about you, man. Like,
so to get off of shitting on people that we knew,
yeah,
just generally. The thing that's more annoying is the fact that the people who were talking shit about you were smiling and acting like they were friends with you later on, and I would even call them out on that shit afterwards. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Did you just take a dump on him?
I was like, yeah. I was like, you know what? You're not the people I want to surround myself with.
Who was the? I mean, you don't have to say like their last name. If you say the first name, that's cool. Like, who was one of the people that you remembered in particular?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I blocked everybody out.
Yeah.
Like those are like the people that I like today are the people that I believed were worth remembering after I enlisted. Other than that, everybody else was like just garbage people.
Yeah. So the whole reason me and Lily met each other was we met each other at a party. This guy named Mike Timmons. Does that ring a bell?
Nope.
Met at his house, and he was like dating Lily at the time, and Lily actually looked really good back then because she was, for some reason, she was in good shape. I guess she like worked out or something.
Probably let all the schizophrenia keep her from eating.
Yeah, maybe. I just remember going to that party, and there was just a bunch of guys there, and they were all just playing video games. Just playing fucking video games and not even...
Oh, I remember this story.
Yeah, not even paying attention to their girlfriends, you know? And I just remember, like, going in that bedroom, and, you know, Lily and that other girl were just sitting there making out on the bed, and they were like, oh... And then Lily looks at him and goes, "Do you want him to join?" And she was like, the girl was like, "Yeah." And I didn't know whose girlfriend was who. I didn't know. I thought maybe they were single, or maybe this was a bunch of swingers. I mean, you know me, dude. I get into some really freaky shit.
To be fair, though, all right, my neighborhood pool during summertime, you can clearly tell everyone's fucking everybody.
Oh, nice.
Like everyone is just way too touchy-feely with each other. Yeah. Where it's like, nah, No, you're not like neighbors because I don't fucking know my neighbors.
Well, long story short, I basically hooked up with both of them at the same time. I don't know how I got away with that because I didn't realize that. First of all, they both had boyfriends, and the boyfriends were there in the living room playing video games. I didn't realize that, dude. You
Dude.
know, I know I was going through a rough time though. I just broken up with my ex girlfriend, and I was a little sad about that. But I just remember going to that party, man. And I just remember like doing that. And as we got done, like I had my clothes on, I was sitting there just watching them some more. I had a beer in my hand. I was sitting there just watching them fucking do stuff with each other.
Dude,
And
you know what's funny?
what?
That sort of shit happened to me one time when I went to a punk rock show.
I bet.
Dude, I was taking a piss
Mm-hmm.
and I was drinking a 40 ounce while I was doing it. And these two older lesbians come in, knock down the door, and I'm just like, and I'm just still taking a piss. I'm just kind of like, all right.
You getting ready?
I'm just like, I'm just like, I just put my dick away after that, and I'm like, God bless America. Walked the fuck out of that situation because they're going like,
They're going ham.
they look like they were about to fist each other.
Oh wow. Well, that happens sometimes. Sometimes lesbians.
I mean,
will
no,
fist
I
each
mean,
other.
fisting is quite a normal thing with people.
Yeah, these
It's
days.
it's not even taboo anymore. It's like, it's like, hey, Kyle, did you get fisted by your wife this weekend? Well, yeah, you know.
What's crazy about your story and then my story is just like people don't realize how quickly like
Shit devolved.
shit just like turns into that, and I'll never forget. I was watching them still do stuff, and I was sitting there with that drink, and that Mike guy comes in there and goes, "Hey, what are you doing in here?" I'm like, "Oh, just hanging out." And he's like, "You got to get out of here." And I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm already done, dude." And he goes, "What do you mean by that?" And I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it, dude." I just like left, and I remember he locked the door and closed it, and all these guys started huddling around him. He was like smiling like this. He's like, "Ooh, they're doing stuff in there," and I'm like over there. I'm like, "Yeah, and I fucking fucked them, you stupid son of a bitch." Because like I don't know, dude. It was it was so fucking stupid, man. Like I don't know. It made my nights. It made my night so much better. Like I got to be honest with you, dude. I was so depressed because my girlfriend had left like 6 months earlier, and we weren't together anymore, and I was super depressed about that. And that night just really made me feel so much better because like I actually went there with Mitch, believe it or not. So, uh, dude, like
He's like the ugliest fat school shooter looking motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. Like he would get to the front of the school and get a heart attack. And as he trips, the barrel of his rifle would like sit nicely underneath his chin, and he'd accidentally like kind of hit the trigger and boom, right out there.
I wonder where he's at. Where do you think he's at?
I mean, I always thought he looked like a sex offender, so he's probably a sex offender.
It's interesting. I saw him many years later after I graduated college. I went to IHOP to eat some food with a buddy of mine, and he was like the manager there.
Must be interesting
And
being the manager of an IHOP.
Yeah, and he talked to me, and I was just like, "Oh, it's you." And he goes, "Hey," and he tried to be friendly to me, and I'm just like, "I don't like you, dude."
Huh, it looks like you're playing the old trick again.
And he goes, "What do you mean?" I was like, "You fucked me over, dude. Fuck you. You're a piece of shit."
To be fair, people don't realize that the second someone finds out that you're acting fake, they don't want to be around you anymore. And then that person, surprisingly, gets really confused where they're like, oh, wow, why do people not like me? And I was like, maybe it has to do with the fact that you're a manipulative shitbag. You like to manipulate people. You like to manipulate a situation. You like the control of being a shitbag.
Could be it.
I was like, you mean you don't have friends? Oh, that's confusing there.
That's confusing there.
Have you ever tried not being a dick? Might work out.
Yeah, well, they'll never figure it out though, unfortunately.
Which is kind of funny because like when I was standing outside your building, right, before you got here, the most interesting thing I saw was a guy. something. A guy wearing a mask right around his chin and walking with a cigarette. He wasn't even holding it. He was holding the straps to his book bag, and he's smoking, like he's sucking it in and then just blowing out like just this constant stream. I've only seen one man ever do that. All right, but that man was actually cool. This guy was a douchebag just by looking at him.
So he was literally inhaling and exhaling, and it was just smoke.
It was a constant like stream. Like I bet you he did the thing where he would like he'd light one up, he'd take the other one out, like just switch sides of his mouth, and then like just light it up, toss it, and then go from there. But the funniest part is how many people I've met who have started problems with me just at the grocery store because they're like, "Oh, you should put on a mask." It's like I'm fully vaccinated. It's like, and they're like, "You still gotta wear a mask." They're out of shape, fat pieces of shit, with a carton of cigarettes in their bag. And it's like, so you're telling me that I gotta listen to you? It's like, I've noticed another thing about fake people is the virtue signaling.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere around this town, there's people who have like the Black Lives Matter posters in their windows. I bet you they're just putting that shit there because they don't want their business destroyed by the white kids in Black Lives Matter. Like, how many black-owned businesses have been destroyed by a bunch of white kids who are like, "Yeah, we're helping out people," and they're like, "Let's not burn down our neighborhood. Let's burn down the black neighborhood." I was like, seems kind of racist.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh no, have you ever seen all of Antifa? They're all white.
Oh, really?
Like most of them are white. It's like going to a confused white supremacist rally. Which, by the way, like those guys are fucking assholes too. It's like they all look like they're about to inbreed the shit out of each other.
Oh yeah.
Like, have you ever seen I bet you the KKK still tries to wear hoods because they don't want you to see how much inbreeding has gone on facially. Like I bet you if you took off that hood, you'd see something from Wrong Turn.
Oh my god. That sounds terrible, dude.
But that's another thing that I've noticed too. It's like a lot of people join movements just to be like, they do it for clout. It's like, "Hey, look at this. I'm doing this thing, so here's my Instagram. Follow my OnlyFans."
It's funny when you get on OkCupid these days. Talk about people being fake.
Yeah.
On OkCupid, I haven't been on OkCupid in probably like 4 or 5 months, but like back when I was on it on the regular, you'd have some really fake people on there who would just who were not being honest about their true intentions. And then he would go and like try to talk to these people. He'd be like, "Hey, you wanna hang out sometime?" And then they'd be like, "Oh, well, you should subscribe to my OnlyFans." It's like, you didn't even mention that in your profile. And they're like, "Oh, you must hate women because you're not going to subscribe to my OnlyFans." I'm like, "No, dude, you didn't even say anything about an OnlyFans. I'm so confused right now. Like, why are you doing this bait and switch right now?" And they're just like, "Oh, well, I just need to make some money." And I'm like, "Well, then don't get on a fucking dating website. Go like advertise it like in a good locale, you know?"
Well, it's kind of interesting because speaking of that, I've seen women post their OnlyFans link on all sorts of social media, right? And then they complain. They're like, "It's so disgusting that all my guy friends want to see me naked. All men are pigs." It's like, you're advertising an OnlyFans on all your social media, which is a majority men.
Which
Who
is
did you
fine.
think?
Actually, I think advertising that shit on social media is the perfect place to do that.
So that's not the point of that I'm trying to make. What's confusing to me is that the person is actually mad that
the guys like them.
That guys want to see them naked. You mean your majority of male friends on your majority of single male friends, probably some married ones in there somewhere,
Yeah.
want to see you naked? You're telling me that you're confused about this? You have a majority of male friends. There's not really a secret of what's going on here. your outrage seems pretty fake. It's like you advertise your OnlyFans to get OnlyFans customers. Then you're mad that your OnlyFans customers happen to be the people on your social media that you're friends with. Really?
It's fucking bizarre.
But that goes along with fake people, though. It's the fake outrage.
Mm.
And it's like, man, I can't believe that this place does this thing that I don't like. We gotta burn it down. Which seems to result in some interesting side effects, like prison time or parole,
Yeah.
or I know probation, maybe parole one day.
Well, I mean, you're right. Like, don't getting people getting mad about like advertising themselves doing this, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, these people actually want to see them do the thing that they've been advertising, and it's like they get mad about it. You're like, what's going on?
It's like, I already gave you my $5.
It's like, I gave you the $5. Did you not? You're not able to pay your rent?
Can I get the nudes?
It's funny. There's actually a song this guy was singing. It was really funny. It's called the Simp Song, and in the Simp Song, like the guy's like. He's like, well, I love you. Oh, I'll go ahead and pay for you and your boyfriend's this and that, and please talk to me.
I saw something. I like the memes where it's like when your girlfriend has to have sex for your drug habits. I'm just like, damn, bro.
Damn, that's hardcore.
But it's kind of like the weird thing though too, right? Like where people act like they don't like other people. But then you catch them like doing something like that, like with another.
Well, we live in a really weird age right now where sex work is becoming like the norm because like everybody's doing it, and the problem with that is it's going to be like any other industry. It's going to get so oversaturated. Like,
I think that's what happened though with OnlyFans.
Yeah,
is that it actually got oversaturated? Oversaturated. I'm not good at English.
saturated.
Yeah. But what happened was now, from what I've heard, is a lot of people who are, if you want to be good at it, like OnlyFans, you have to get in bed basically with the person who's top tier and have them control your account and some of your money. So it's like a pyramid scheme almost now in OnlyFans because the people who are really good at it are the ones who are making the money off of it. And it's kind of like what is it? The fake anger of somebody like Mia Khalifa. I was like, you're mad at the porn industry, understandable, right? They're using your content without your consent.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got an OnlyFans. It's like you're gonna be surprised that people are gonna be paying for that OnlyFans. Like, honestly, one thing I've noticed too is that a lot of people are moving away from this like actual porn websites and liking the OnlyFans thing because they're seeing regular people.
That's interesting.
Well, you have to think about it, right? Would you constantly want to sort of like put yourself in the situation where you're looking at somebody that you know you wouldn't have any chance with, rather than having somebody that's like real, like a real person? And not saying that porn stars aren't real people, but what I'm saying is that they're like the Hollywood of sex work.
The problem I have with this, though, is you have women that are like a 5, a 6, and a 7 who think that they're better than the men who are in their league, And,
yeah.
And I do have a huge issue with that because it's going to cause a lot of problems in the future. It's gonna make women it's going to get even worse because even like women that are going to be even lower on that tier are going to start thinking that too. And
that's what happened with the fat acceptance movement.
Well, the problem I have with this is like, I'm scared that women are going to get to the point where they think that no guy is good enough for them. And then what's going to happen then? Are we going to just like, I think like our population is going to take a huge fucking nosedive, I mean, I've heard so many women say how much they hate men. Like, I hate men.
So speaking about that though, I think we should do another video about that because this will get deeper on that. But yeah, it is kind of disturbing when somebody says they hate men. Yeah. It's kind of like when somebody says that you're transphobic or homophobic.
Well, it'd be
because
it'd be like if I said I hate women. I don't hate women.
yeah. Oh no, but like I said, it's like what people don't realize is when you say that kind of stuff is like, and then they're confused when they don't meet somebody.
Well, the correct way to say that wouldn't be saying I hate men. The correct thing to say is I hate some men.
Yeah.
It's like when someone says I hate some women, that makes sense. But like if you say a blanket statement like I hate all men or I hate all women, I'm gonna automatically assume that there's something wrong with you.
I've seen it where the thing that's confusing me as of recently, right? Where like with the whole transphobic thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now lesbians are being considered transphobic because they don't want to have sex with trans women.
Well, yeah, they don't want a dick; they want pussy.
Well, but that's what I'm saying, right? Is like now they're being called TERFs and transphobic and all this other bullshit. It's like that would be like calling a gay man who doesn't want to have a relationship with a trans person,
Trans male.
yeah, trans man. You know what I mean? It's like no, because they like dicks.
Yeah, they don't
like-
like pussy, dude.
It's like that's not transphobic. They have preferences to what they like. It's like when they say that it's transphobic for a straight man not to like a trans person, because a straight man's like, oh, I'm attracted to women. I want to have
Babies.
yeah, I want to have babies. And they're like, well, you can have babies another way. It's like, no, that's not the point. It's not your decision to make.
Yeah.
You know, a group of people that have been saying love is love are fake as hell when they start telling you who to love.
Well, I agree with you because it's
like-
like if you're gonna say love is love, that applies to everybody.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna go around and be surprised that somebody is being resistant now towards your movement, because it's like they're saying that homophobia now and transphobia is getting is like the acceptance for trans and gay people is going down again. Well, maybe it's because people are saying things like this where they're making people the enemy. It's like, imagine if you called somebody a racist or an asshole or like you just kept making shit up, right?
Mhm.
Because somebody didn't agree with you on something.
Mhm.
Eventually, that person's going to be like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care anymore.
Well, it's like people who get mad at people for wearing certain types of like political stickers on their car. It's like one guy was like, "Oh, I'm trying to remember what it was he had on his car. Oh, he had Deadpool. He's like, how can he like Trump and have a Deadpool sticker on his car too? It's like because people are people.
That would be like. Sorry, I'm kind of retarded feeling right now. That's kind of like when somebody I have liberal friends who like guns, right?
Yeah.
That's like somebody like I've heard other people say it's like you're not really a liberal because you like guns. It's like, how the fuck does that go together? It's like yeah, I know the politics is what it is, but you ever I know when you talk to like liberal people,
Mhm.
not leftists, they like guns. They like stuff.
Mhm.
They're not surrounded by these constant sort of like messages to where you've got to fit into a box. I mean, there's conservative atheists.
Yeah, of course.
There's gay conservatives. It's like I've also heard horrible things yelled at black conservatives, gay conservatives, and it's like, aren't you supposed to be the party of acceptance? Why are you doing this horrible? Like, why are you saying horrible shit to these other people? It's like you're not really accepting. In fact, you're pretty much racist and homophobic.
Well, I saw that post. I mean, I'm not a Trump fan, but dude, like, of course, a guy can like Trump and like Deadpool. That's not
Yeah.
like, are you trying to be funny? Are you trying to be like an asshole? I mean, I just didn't really get it, you know.
The most interesting, I will say though, the most interesting political sticker I've ever seen is the Trump like hairdo on a Punisher skull.
What the fuck?
I thought it was more of like a comedic thing, but some people were serious about that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that you see, that's what threw me off. I thought it was for comedy.
Might have been.
No, apparently that person took that seriously.
Oh, okay.
He's not faking it. He's just like somewhere else.
Well, we're at the 5-minute mark.
Ew.
Yeah. All right.
Man, that went by a little too fast. We got to start bumping these episodes up to 2 hours.
Maybe. if I have time.
Right?
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, I guess like since we were talking about fake people, I think people are fucking fake because if they were too much themselves, I guess people would realize that they're either really boring pieces of shit or they're just afraid to show their true selves. That's my opinion on people, why people are fake.
My opinion is that we've become so polarized politically that it's somehow seeped into our lives socially.
Yeah.
So that now if you don't like the same things that someone else likes, they're going to consider you an asshole either way. And I mean, it's like with anything, right? I mean, we're both very centrist about our political views. So whenever we get into an whenever we just kind of be like, oh, okay, hey, wait, let's approach this from a logical standpoint. People from the right or the left are going to call us idiots because we don't believe, and now somehow we don't believe in something that they believe in culturally in society or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that it's now become to the point where culture is so ingrained in politics that we can't come together, and it's really annoying because it's like if we eliminate the politics, we would probably get along a lot better. And that's why I think a lot of people are fake. I think a lot of people have let other people manipulate them into thinking a certain way.
That's why you'd never see a scientist be a politician because
Yeah.
a scientist wouldn't care about the politics. They would care about actually trying to fix probably the problems, you know?
The logical solution.
Yeah.
That's why it's filled with lawyers.
Yeah.
Because they're just a bunch of assholes who translate what they want.
Yeah, because they manipulate the law to suit their purposes, basically.
I mean, if you've ever like thought about jury duty, right?
Yeah.
They try to pick the most retarded people just so that one lawyer can sway an opinion and the other lawyer to sway the opinion of these retards.
Oh yeah, every time they ask the questions during jury duty, I always fail the questions because I'm way too logical and smart. And they're like, "Oh, you got to go."
Yeah, that's what happens with me.
They're like, "You got to go." It's like, I was like, "All right, fine."
I remember when, speaking of jury duty, by the way, there was a time where they sent me jury duty while I was in the military. They're like, hey, so can you make this date? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna be here.
I'm in the military, dude. Fuck off.
They're like, so you can maybe see if you can make it. I'm like, no. It was like, I'm gonna get kicked off again anyways, regardless.
Yep.
Logic hurts most people.
And speaking of logic, you should totally comment on our post all the time. Every time we post something on YouTube and our audio podcast, you should always comment and post.
Yeah, if we make you angry, we like that too.
Yeah. And you got to check out our website. You got to check out our merch store. You guys know the spiel at this point.
We might have coffee cups coming up soon. We might not. We're not sure. You don't comment enough. We don't know.
Yeah. So you got to give us some feedback. You got to let us know what you think. Comment, rate, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, I don't know why you're even watching this right now.
Yeah, like, if you're not subscribed, why are you watching our videos?
Yeah, like, seriously, like, that's fucked up. But, as always, I hope you guys have a good day. And, Nick, you wanna do a little sign-off?
Stay sexy, Atlanta.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Dumb, Cool, and Weird podcast with Wes and Nick. If you want to check out more of our stuff, go to www.dumbcoolweird.com. You'll find our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon link if you want to support us. Also, be sure to check out our merch store. And if you're interested in being on our podcast, you can find a link on our website so you can reach out to us and tell us if you want to talk to us about something that's really weird, dumb, or cool. We'd be glad to hear from you. Hope you will stay tuned for the next weird ass episodes we got. Thank you.